On a recent road trip to Colorado, Robert White and I put his brand new SRL-EXT from Sena to the test.
This video is sponsored by Cruiseman's Garage Honda Goldwing Maintenance Video Series.
I think it's only fair to mention that Sena was kind enough to send me the SRL-EXT to test and review. However, I don't have a Shoei RF1400 full-face helmet, but Robert had just purchased a new helmet. So I decided that he would be the best person to install this and test it out. Now, this headset is specifically designed to be installed on the Shoei RF1400 full-face helmet, a very popular helmet. You can see that the system has sound by Harman Kardon. It has advanced noise control, the ability to control the Sena with your voice, Bluetooth intercom, as well as mesh intercom. We were using the Sena Mesh on our ride, and a working distance of up to 2 kilometers is claimed. We did not put that to the test. Now, the battery charging time, it says, is 2.5 hours, and you can talk up to 11 hours. We did put that to the test. We rode together for 7 days, and each day we rode well over 8 to 9 hours, and one day I think we rode over 11 hours. I can only recall the SRL battery dying where we had no communication one time during that 7 days, and it was a very, very long day of riding. I think it's safe to say that for most riders, the rider is going to wear out before the battery does on the SRL-EXT. Now, from an aesthetic standpoint, I think the unit looks very sleek. It's very low profile, yet the buttons are large enough and they're rubber, so they're very easy to feel even with gloves on. And it's very easy to adjust the volume, to turn on open mesh, or to turn the unit on or off. It's a very, very easy system to use. One thing that makes this unit unique is the battery is separate from the communicator. The battery actually installs on the right side of the helmet. This is actually a pretty intelligent design because it allows for the use of a larger battery, and it kind of evens out the look on both sides of the helmet. The only thing I wish Sena had done differently is I wish they had made those batteries hot swappable, so you could buy an extra battery so that if you didn't have a way to keep the battery charged every night, you could easily swap it out with a second battery. But other than that, I think the SRL-EXT is an excellent design. And even though the unit does charge with USB-C, you cannot leave it plugged into a power bank to keep it charged while you're riding. Now I'm going to borrow some video from Robert White's channel to show you how he installed this on his Shoei helmet.
All right. I also have the Sena SRL-EXT communication device built specifically for the RF1400 helmet. So we're going to get that installed on this helmet and charged up real good and see how it works. First, let's do a quick unboxing. I've already opened the box previously, but we'll just see what's in here. We have the paperwork. We have the charging cable for the device. We have the external battery that goes on one side of the helmet. External battery. Pretty hefty battery. I think it's got 11 hours of talk time. That's incredible, 11 hours. And then the unit itself with a pop-up antenna, snaps into place. We got the charging port right there. We've got the open mesh on-off button right here on the end, open mesh. Then we've got the decrease, increase volume, and the multifunction center button, which if you have ever done anything with Sena, you know the center button does a lot of things. Whether you press it, press and hold for a long time, it does different things. All right. And then we've got, looks like some templates, some additional adhesive strips if we need them. We've got the internal microphone, which is unlike the Shoei Neotech 2, which is a boom mic. This mic is simply a Velcroed mic on the inside of the chin. Since the chin doesn't lift up, you can just Velcro this wherever you want. It's got its own little sort of dead cat surface to it, so it keeps the wind noise down. So that's pretty cool. Got some more 3M adhesive here, a couple of screws, an Allen wrench, and the mounting bracket to mount it to the helmet. We're going to get to that in just a bit. So that's everything in the pack. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. We have the speakers, the, what is it? I use Harman Kardon, I think? Harman Kardon speakers, which ought to be great. Go into the pre-sunk ear wells of this helmet. And then you've got different speaker pad thicknesses for whatever you like. I'll probably start with the thickest pads just to cut down on the wind noise in my ears. And if that doesn't work, they come out easily and we can attach these thinner pads. More adhesive strips. There's a duplicate for the main unit if you need it. And then looks like some more Velcro adhesive if you need it. So that's pretty much everything. Installation instructions. Oh, and of course stickers. More stickers. All right, the first thing it calls for is to remove the cheek pads out of the helmet. Now, like any Shoei helmet, they just snap right in, so you should be able to just pull them like that. You'll hear them snap like that, and then the D-rings and straps come out of them. Yeah, and they just slide right out. Take notice of how they slide out, okay, because you're going to have to put them back in the very same way. And I'm going to lay these down in the order that they go. So that is the right-hand side. I'm going to put that over here on the right. Slide that out. Unsnap, unsnap, pull out the D-ring, slide that out. There we go. That's the left side. Okay, when I say the back, I just mean the headliner. So you're going to snap out the headliner here, and it just pulls right out. It's connected in the front by this curtain. And I believe this curtain just pulls out. There we go. Yeah, little tabs. I'm used to the little tabs. Just pulls itself out. Be very careful. Just like that. Now you have the headliner out. I'm going to set that aside. All right, this particular helmet comes with a template that allows you to line up where you're going to put this mounting bracket. This is the mounting bracket, has an arrow pointing up. So this is towards the front or the chin of the helmet. That's towards the back of the helmet. It's going to slide in like that. And it's just going to slide in wherever this thing tells it to slide into. So here's what we're going to do. It says this template has an arrow in the template. You want to stick the arrow right here up next to the lettering such that it points towards the lettering. You see that little arrow there? It's pointing towards this yellow lettering. And once you have it that far and pointing towards, then you pull it down such that this line here at the base of the cutout for the template is in alignment with the hard plastic shell of the bike. And there you have it. Now, the arrow is pointing towards the words. The template is mounted or is placed right here even with the bottom of the plastic on the helmet. And you're just going to take this bracket and you're just going to slide it where it tells you to, right up in between the padding and the helmet, and you're going to just make it fit. You'll feel it snug. There's a little ridge in the bracket that fits very comfortably right there. Now you've got it in the right place. That's in the right place. Push it up, make sure it's up in there good and snug. All right, there we go. All right, next thing we're going to do is take the unit itself and mount it to the bracket that you've just shoved in here, okay? There's no screwing the bracket in, it's just shoved in between the padding and the plastic. There are screw holes in the bottom of this bracket, and there are screw holes in the bottom of the unit. They are going to line up. There's also a little tab on the base of the bracket here and a little slot in the unit itself that's going to fit on that little tab. It's going to stick to the helmet by this 3M tape, but before we peel off and stick it onto the helmet, let's take some alcohol swabs and make sure this adhesive area is good and clean. So I'm just going to pull out some isopropyl alcohol, 70%, and I'm just going to clean this attachment area right here. Make sure there's no oils in there that will make that 3M adhesive disengage. Go a little wider just to be sure. Flip it over, let's get that. That ought to be good and clean. All right, we're gonna sit here, let that alcohol dry for a minute. Okay, first I'm gonna do a test run of the unit. Obviously the small part of the unit goes towards the front of the helmet, aerodynamics, right? And then the large part goes towards the back. And I'm going to line up these screw holes and that tab with the mounting bracket that we just installed. There it is. Boy, very simple. All right, now that we've done a sort of a dry alignment, let's take off the tape and put this puppy down for good. Good old 3M tape. What would we ever do without 3M tape? Does not want to come off. There it goes. It wants to pull the whole tape off. Okay, I now have the 3M tape exposed. I'm going to first align the bottom before I push the top down. I don't want it sticking before I get alignment. So I'm going to feel for that little area where it fits in the, there it is, that little groove. And once it's in that little groove, I'm going to look under here. I'm eyeballing these holes where the screws go in. And I'm going to press down firmly. All right, pressing down, going to hold it for 30 seconds. That is firmly in place on that helmet. All right, next step is to take these bolts, these tiny little bolts that they provided, and screw that bracket in using the Allen key that they provided. So I'm going to put it on the end of here like this, and I'm going to get it up in that hole, and we're just going to start tightening down. Hopefully I did the alignment good so that it makes good connection and a good fit. I believe it is good. Yeah, that's going in just fine. So I'm going to tighten it down, just hand tighten it. Doesn't need to be any tighter than that. Give it a little twist just to snug it up. That one's done. Let's do the second one. Put it on the end of the Allen wrench. Find the hole here. And just like clockwork, it sinks and goes in. All right, we're going to tighten this up, hand tighten as well. There we go. Now that unit is firmly attached. Let's go to the next step. All right, the next step is to turn this thing over, because now we're going to put the battery pack on. This is the battery pack. Sorry, Sena, word up. Word up. And so it goes over here, and to align it, if you guys can see, we're going to take the inside edge of this wire guard. See this wire? That's the wire guard. We're going to take the front, the front edge of this wire guard, and we're going to line it up right here with the words. That's where it should go, front to back. And then up and down, the base of the battery should be flush with the base of the plastic, the helmet plastic, not the liner here, but the plastic part of the helmet itself. And that's where it's going to go. All right, well, let's get this clean so we have a good adhesion. Going to open up another cotton swab. You can find these at Walmart. They're so handy, pre-swabbed, pre-soaked in alcohol. Just makes it really easy. All right, going to clean this up. just like that. Flip it over a little bit. Get a little more wipe going here. All right. Dry now. All right. Let's do a dry run just to make sure we're pretty comfortable where it's going to fit. Again, the front edge of this wire protector goes right at the words, and the rest of it just fits in line with the helmet base. All right, that's perfectly understandable. Let's get this tape backing off, if this one wants to come off. Come on now, work with me. There we go. All right. And here we go. I'm going to get that front lined up first. That's about right. And before I press it down on anything, I'm going to get that base lined up with the base of the helmet. That looks to be pretty good right there. We're just going to hold that for 30 seconds. All right, there you go. Battery unit installed. Just like that. All right, next we're going to take this battery and we're going to plug it in to the unit. Now the unit's on one side, battery's on the other side. There are several plugs here, but the size of the battery plug fits only one size over here. That is female-female. That's not going to work. That one's female-female. That's not going to work. Here we go, male-female. That's what we need. And there's a little cutout at the bottom of the female part here where the little groove here fits in. It only goes in one way. So we're going to snap it in and we will be good to go. There we go. Battery and unit connected. All right, next we're going to attach the microphone. Take off this adhesive. So for the microphone, you can see on the unit here, the base unit, there is a red wire that comes out, and the microphone has a red wire as well. That's how you know you're connecting the right things. So just line up the grooved part again. It only fits one way, and push it in. There we go, mic connected. Now we need to place the mic inside the chin where we want it. So there's going to be padding right there. You can tell that's a dot for where the padding goes. So we're just going to put the mic right there. And so I'm going to put this Velcro on the back of the mic, the way I think the Velcro ought to be fitting. And then we're going to tape the Velcro in place. I think it should go like that. And I think it should go like that. All right, so I don't know if you can see it. I've got it positioned right about there. So let's take off the backing of this. Well, first of all, I'm going to clean it. This alcohol wipe is still a little bit wet. So let's clean the surface in here and get it good and free of any kind of oils from your finger. Let's let that dry. All right, I'm going to take off the Velcro here. And I'm going to take the Velcro pad and put it in place where I believe I've eyeballed that it should be. He said. So let's get that backing off. All right, got it separated. And there's a stitched ridge on the inside of the helmet. I'm just going to put this Velcro, or they call it hook and loop because you don't want to call it a brand name, but it's Velcro. I'm going to put it right here underneath that stitching and just sink it in like that. Okay, there you go. Then I'm going to take the microphone and just let it naturally sit right here on the Velcro. Just like that. All right, the next thing we want to do is take these pieces of tape that they provided plenty of them, and we want to tape down the wires inside the helmet. So it's real easy to do. You're going to tape one right here next to the actual unit. You're going to put another tape right here on the side next to the battery, pulling that wire in just like that, okay? And then you're going to wrap these around and put two in the back. And then the headliner will just cover them up. Okay, so let's do that. Let's start with getting one over here. All right, we're going to start on this side, the battery pack side. Just like that. And this is really sticky stuff, so that's good. And we're going to turn this around. We're going to tuck this wire in pretty closely and pretty tightly. And then I'm just going to stick this thing over top the wire and press it down to the inside of the hard plastic inside of the helmet. Just like that. And the wire wraps right in that little sort of curvature or indentation where the padding changes shape. All right, let's do one on this side. Okay, on the unit side, we're going to come back from the microphone, go past the junction where these three wires come out, and we're going to put the tape right here next to the junction over the three wires. So let's do that. All right, got it unpeeled. And I'm going to do it long ways this time because I need all the covering of those three wires I can get. Just going to put it down just like that. And I'm going to press it down. There we go. That's the end result of this side. The wire, of course, wraps around, very same indentation place, and just gets taped down, and the microphone comfortably sits right over here. Okay, let's put two in the back now. All right, on this side, we are going to tape it down just anywhere in here, wherever it fits. Just make sure that this snap, this padding snap, is clear. You don't want the wire interfering with that padding snap. So I'm going to take off another backing here. Kind of get your fingernail in there. There we go. All right. This other piece of tape. Make sure that sort of makes sense and is flush back here in a certain way. And then I'm going to tape it down right here. A little more towards the center of the back of the helmet than the side, just to keep it away from that snap and to keep these pretty tight, these wires pretty tight and pretty close around the back of the helmet. All right, you didn't really have to take the headliner out completely. You could have just folded it forward and now folded it back. So now we got to put the headliner back in. All right, I've got the headliner snapped back in the front. That wasn't too difficult. It all just fits in a slot and groove, and you can feel it snap in fairly easy. So we're going to get this double D chin strap out of the way, and we're just going to start pressing this down where it belongs. What is that? Only two snaps? Well, that makes it easy. One, and then we're going to snap it under this. All right, there we go. I think that snapped. All right, next we're going to put our speakers in. If you're watching the official Sena installation video, they skip right over this speaker part. So just be aware of that. All right, let's see. Is this labeled left or right? Are these just identical? They look identical. All right. Let's pull back. Oh, not the wires. Don't want to pull back the wires. Pull out these pads that are already in there. And we're going to put in our speakers now, but I need to pull out the back again because I'm going to need to hook these up to something. And so inside the speaker well, you'll see a little indentation where the wire should go, and it allows the wire to come out. Just like that. All right. And then we're going to plug it in over here to this open plug where it belongs. Once again, orienting the little groove the correct way. All right, let's go to the other side and do the same thing. Going to pull out the pad that's just inherent in there. And we are going to put in the other speaker with the cable coming out where the little indentation is. Oh, wait a minute. I see. Doing it wrong, guys. You put the pad in first. So because that's going to be this thick, I might want to use the thinner pads first. So I think I'm going to do that. If I decide later to come back, it's easy enough to change. And they give you some of these stickers to put inside the ear well to hold these in place. All right, now we're learning all about it. Going to take the backing off of this and place it in the ear well right where I think it needs to go, which means the little dot goes forward. The little pointy thing goes where the wire is going to go. In there just like that. All right, now we have some soft material for that Velcro to stick to. And we're going to do that. We're going to take one of these thin pads rather, and stick it in there. There we go. And then we are going to attach this microphone. Got the microphone installed. Now let's get it hooked up. Similar to the other side, we're just going to align the tab in the male and female receptor and plug it in. There's the little tab. All right, tab together like that. Now I'm going to use another piece of tape this down. I'm glad they give you plenty of these. I mean, I guess you could go find your own tape somewhere. Now we're going to do the same thing with this other side. I'm going to take out the speaker temporarily. I'm going to put in the felt sticky pad first. There we go. With the pointy bit pointing towards where the wire comes out. We're going to start that there and just press it in with my fingers everywhere. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just fit inside that cup right there. All right. Then we're going to take the skinny pad and we're going to put it Velcro side down in that hole, and we're going to press. All right, so that is now attached. And lastly, we're going to attach the speaker in the very same manner, in the very same place, with the cord going the same direction. Now, let's get this headliner snapped back in place. 2 snaps ought to do it. All right, got the headliner back in place. Time to put the cheek pads in. So I grab the right side, and let's see, did I do this right? Did I do this correctly? No, that is the left side. Okay, well, we know what we got to do. We got to slide this right back in where we found it. Just like that. We're going to put the strap inside. The strap goes inside this. All right, just like that. We're going to turn this down, this red tab down, and put it where it goes. Looks like we're going to have to slide it under the wire first. There we go. And that slides right in there like that. Ooh, I felt it snap. How nice. That snapped back there. That's good. Now let's snap it inside the cheek. Looks like we got 1, 2, maybe 3. Let's see here. Yeah, we got a third one way in the back there. You see that? So you got to feel that snap in. Ah, heard it snap. That's good. All right, got that one snapped in. Gonna snap this one. Felt that one. Gonna hold that while I align this front one. He said. And I felt that one snap. Okay. I think that right side cheek. Well, that was the right side when the helmet's right side up. So I was right. Right. Now let's do left. Hopefully not wrong. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna slide it in the back first, where it goes back here. Snap. That was good and easy. That slides in, no problem. We've got this red tab that we are going to place under the wire right here, and then slide in and snap in place. There it goes. I felt it. Oh, very nice. Very nice, Shoei. Okay, back snap. We're going to get that. Well, first of all, let's pull the double D down where it needs to be. All right. Now we're going to get this back snap first. Y'all won't be able to see it, but over the cord. All right. I felt that snap. Is it pressed in far enough? I guess it is. Okay, that one snapped. Let's get this one up here snapped. All right, that one snapped. And let's get the last one snapped right up here. There we go. Now we have cheek pads all back in place, units all installed, wires tucked away. Very nice.
So how did the SRL-EXT perform in a real-world situation? Well, during our multi-day road trip in Colorado, Robert and I were able to stay in constant communication with each other, me with my Sena Impulse helmet, which has the 50 series communicator, and Robert with his SRL-EXT. Now you'll notice on my left, right above the mirror, my left mirror, you'll see that mesh port red with a little antenna sticking up. That mesh port red is connected to my Ace Pro action camera using Bluetooth, and it is also a mesh device. So basically, it and my helmet and Robert's helmet all are funneled into my Ace Pro so that you can get a chance to hear the type of conversation that Robert and I had during our ride. Let's take a listen.
So when we get to our destination up here, we're going to be arriving at what they call the Southern Rim. And there's a visitor center on the Southern Rim. Wow, look at the elevation off to the left here. We're at 7,900 feet right here. Higher than the town of Ouray. Anyway, the visitor center here is a great little visitor center. Has some tourist type things you can buy, some souvenirs you can buy, but the views from the back of the tourist center are unbelievable. And for the most part, that's where I've always gone when I've come here. But we're also going to take the time today to drive around and explore a few more areas.
Is this a national park?
It is a national park. Black Canyon National Park.
So as you can see from this example, we had no trouble staying in communication with each other. We usually rode about this distance from each other, but sometimes we'd get up to a quarter of a mile or more away from each other, and the mesh seemed to hold up pretty well. Robert did experience a little bit of audio cutting out when I was behind him. I never experienced any audio cutouts. Robert's audio was always coming through my helmet just as clear as can be, and I was really surprised how good the audio quality was during the entire trip. I think Robert is very pleased with the performance of the SRL-EXT. It proved to be an invaluable communication device on this road trip with my Sena Impulse. And if you have a Shoei RF1400 full-face helmet, I think it is an excellent choice. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, please give it a thumbs up. That really does help my YouTube channel, and we'll see you on the next Cruiseman's product reviews.